back to Left Behind Films. My name is Max, and today I'm going to be doing a guide for Sgt.Hammer in the game Heroes of the Storm. Previously on a different channel that I had, I was doing a few different guides for Heroes of the Storm back when it was in its earlier alpha stages. I actually got a request from a viewer to make a new guide for Sgt.Hammer due to some of the changes that they made to the different abilities and talents and where they moved them. So let's start out. I'm going to do an entirely new guide, so I'm going to start from the very beginning in terms of Sgt.Hammer. Basically, to give you... Alright, let's... Enough of that. Okay, alright. Thank you. Thank you. Just gonna... If you could just not do that, that'd be great. Alright, so basically to give you an overview of Sgt.Hammer, Sgt.Hammer is a long-range specialist. Basically what that means is that Sgt.Hammer is really meant for focusing on taking down enemies from afar, like attacking at towers, minions. In terms of team fights, Sgt.Hammer can be really powerful. If you do not have a strong warrior that is able to peel off of you, though, it can be very difficult to actually make Sgt.Hammer as useful as she could be. Reason being is one of Sgt.Hammer's abilities, which we'll get to. Let's start with right here, Spider Mines. Basically, the... Okay, alright. Sgt.Hammer, I'm going to need you to, like, just shush. There we go. So, basically, Sgt.Hammer's first ability, Spider Mines. 50 mana, cooldown 14 seconds, creates mines that slow and damage enemies on contact. Basically what it does at its base level is it drops down 3 little mines that will kind of just dig themselves into the ground, and any enemy that comes near them, they'll hop up and crawl to them. Really good in terms of trying to keep enemies either away from you in terms of if they can see them, so they'll try to avoid being hit by them if possible because it's going to do damage and obviously slow them. Another good use for it is that slow mechanic. If you're busy attacking someone or if they're attacking you in close range and you know you're going to end up winning if they stay there, they're going to try to run away and you can throw those down to slow them and hopefully kill them in the time. The next one is Concussive Blast, which is a close range, kind of like a shotgun hit. It's basically just to knock enemies away, so you can try to escape easier. The main focus is Siege Mode. Basically, Siege Mode is Sgt.Hammer locks herself into an immobile state and is able to attack from farther. The attacks do like bonus splash damage, so basically, you know, siege, explosion, cannon type attacks. And it's especially effective against minions and structures. So basically you want to be doing that when you're in a lane, trying to push as much as possible. Sgt.Hammer's trait is that the farther away the enemy is, the more damage she deals, which is kind of coinciding with the whole Siege Mode ability. Her heroic abilities, the first one is Blunt Force Gun, or BFG, as it's commonly called. Basically, it's just like a giant bullet bill-looking cannon rocket thing that just fires across the entire map. I'm not a big fan of it personally. It's good for, like, clearing a lane later in game, and, you know, like sniping an enemy if you see that they're pretty low health and they're in a different lane than you. Beyond that, I'm not personally a fan. There is Napalm Strike. Napalm Strike is my favorite ability in this game. It's literally just a 6-second cooldown, long-range attack, and it just explodes and does damage and burns things, and it's napalm. And it's napalm. So, yeah. In terms of skins, she has 3 different skins. The basic one, with the red variation being the primary, then blue, and the white one. I love that white one. It looks so good. There is the purchasable skin, the World War III one. I'm not a fan of it personally. I don't like it, but I mean, to each their own. There's the base green model, there's the desert camo, and then there's the digital camo. And the third skin is the master skin, which they just recently added. I love that. It looks so cool. Typical red one, there's the blue one with the green tinting there. I like that. And then there's the black and red. Oh, that looks so good, though. That looks so good. I haven't reached high enough level to be able to unlock the master skin for Sgt.Hammer, and I desperately want to for this very reason. Like, that just looks so beautiful. Now, in terms of talents, and this here is the big, important aspect of Sgt.Hammer, are the talent choices. Just a little preface here is Sgt.Hammer's talents largely depend on a couple factors, primarily being your group composition, in terms of how well your team is doing compared to theirs, and as well as who you're in a lane with. I'll get into that a little bit more as I go through each one. So, for the Tier 1 talents, Advanced Artillery increases the damage bonus to long-distance enemies by 10%. This tends to be my default choice, just because it's particularly useful throughout the entire game. No matter if it's early game or late game, it's just nice to have that 10% bonus damage. Lethal Blast is generally useless to me. I don't use Concussive Blast that often, just because, I mean, I'm only using it when I'm trying to flee. I'm not trying to use it for the damage aspect. So that 50% damage isn't particularly useful on my end. Resistant, while in siege mode, the duration of silences, stuns, slows, and brutes are reduced by 75%. It can be good. The only thing is if you're in a team that has a proper warrior that's able to peel off of you, you shouldn't need to worry about any of this. If you're soloing a lane by yourself and you don't have reliable teammates, this might be a good idea to have, depending on what your enemy team looks like. But generally, I don't take this. Ambush, cloak when entering siege mode, your next basic attack will deal 100% more damage. I'm not a fan. I'm just going to be straight honest, I'm not a fan of this at all. I've seen a decent amount of Sgt.Hammers take it just because they like to do that sneaky thing, where they'll like sit in the grass and then they'll go into siege mode and stealth, wait till the enemy hero is like right there near the towers, and then start blasting them and everything. But that cloak only lasts when you're in that siege mode that first time. If you want to cloak again, you have to leave siege mode, then go back into it. I don't like it. I mean, if you're going to try to go for like an assassin build for Sgt.Hammer, which is technically possible, then great, you can try it, but I wouldn't personally recommend it, except in like very rare circumstances. Regeneration Master is pretty much useless. I don't see it ever being usable, just for the sole reason of you have to gather regen globes, and the thing is, as Sgt.Hammer, you're not as mobile as other heroes, because you're going to be going in and out of siege mode a lot. So for you to have to go over and grab regen globes every time that they pop up for this to be effective, it's not that good. I would not recommend. Next is Tier 4, Focused Attack. Every 10 seconds, your next basic attack deals 50% additional damage. Basic attacks reduce the cooldown. Vampiric Assault. Basic attacks heal for 15% of the damage dealt. The reason I'm reading these both together is because these are the only two that are really important in this tier. Focused Attack you want to take if you have a support in the lane with you. So let's say if you have a Lily with you is really good. A Malfurion is extremely powerful as well. Tassadar, maybe not as much, just because Tassadar is really more about bubble and whatnot. If you don't have a strong support with you, then Vampiric Assault, just because with Siege mode, Vampiric Assault pairs very nicely because the splash damage from it actually heals you on top of just the basic damage to the one target you're focusing. Maelstrom Shells increases standard basic attack range by 20%. This can be good if you want to focus on more of an assassin build, like I said, because then even when enemies are trying to run away, then at least you can hit them for longer and possibly take them out. But generally, I don't take this nearly as often as these two. Excessive Force, double the knockback distance. It, again, I mean, I don't really particularly care for it, because it kind of is dwarfed by these two talents. Tier 7. Tier 7 is a bit difficult just because originally Tier 7 used to be where Hover Siege mode was, which I'll get to later, but it's a very important talent for Sgt.Hammer. But in the case of the 3 options here, I personally go with Slowing Mines. Reason being, increases the movement speed slow of Spider Mines to 40% and the duration to 2 seconds. That is really nice for fighting melee characters. Just because if they're beating on you and you get them down low enough, you can throw those out, have them slowed more and for longer, which gives you more of a chance to blow them up, basically. Especially in late game, when you have like Napalm Strike, like I was talking about earlier, that especially becomes great because then you can just keep napalming them and you're guaranteed to get a kill. Hypercooling Engines is good if you want to do that assassin build I was talking about, just because it gives you more speed. So the thruster ability, which is like your mount ability, it's kind of a burst sprint. In this case, it would be good, and it's active. It makes it so the thrusters are active while you're at the altar, which is good as well, because then you can kind of get out quicker and get out into the field. So very assassin-y. First Aid, I don't ever recommend this unless you're somehow magically in a game with 0 support. If you're in a game with 0 support, though, I mean, good luck, because you're probably not going to do that well if they have a support, but, I mean, hey, I've seen crazier games. Tier 10, I kind of already went over this. Blunt Force Gun is nice, but Napalm Strike is just my default on everything. Just that sheer damage is absolutely beautiful. Tier 13, Giant Killer. Basic attacks against enemy heroes deal bonus damage equal to 1.5% of the hero's max health. This is very good for that assassin build I was talking about before. First Strike, basic attacks deal 25% more damage if you haven't been attacked within the last 5 seconds. If you have a solid team that knows how to peel off of you and you can hang out in the back and people aren't focusing you, this talent is extremely useful and I would highly recommend it in that case. That 25% bonus damage is really nice. Especially in late game, if you're, let's say, in a lane by yourself and the rest of your team are all pushing and you don't have the enemy in your lane, this makes it really nice for clearing minions and pushing towers as well. Bullhead Mines, Spider Mines knock targets back a short distance. This is good if you're having problems with the enemy closing the gap between you too easily. Barricade, create a wall of path blocking debris for 4 seconds. I don't like this one at all. I've actually seen sergeants take this talent and kill their own teammates because of it. Because they'll throw up a wall because, let's say, their ally is running away from an enemy and they want to try to help their ally by shooting with the shotgun. I forgot the name of the ability. The wall actually blocks the ally as well, and then they inadvertently get killed. So 0 out of 10 would not recommend. Tier 16, Executioner. Basic attacks deal 40% more damage against slowed, rooted, or stunned targets. Very good for team fights if you have teammates that are actually able to slow, root, or stun. Particularly, let's say if you have a Chen on your team and they're in the same lane as you, then their barrels ability, I forgot what the ability was called for Chen, slows enemies, which is really nice then because if you're in siege mode, you can just blast the enemy to bits. Minefield increases number of mines by 2. This talent is really nice if you're trying to go for that assassin build like I was talking about, because then you can throw 5 mines down, it'll do a bunch of damage, and it'll apply that slow should you take that prior talent I mentioned. Hover Siege Mode, my absolute favorite. Hover Siege Mode allows you to move while in siege mode at 50% move speed. This ability is like the bread and butter for my siege build, I guess is what I would call it. Basically makes it so that if you're pushing a lane, you don't have to leave siege mode or anything like that. You can keep moving instead of having to get out of siege mode, move up, get in siege mode, move up, and start attacking and all that. It makes it a lot easier. Graduating range. While in siege mode, your standard basic attack range increases by 20% every 3 seconds up to 100%. This talent is very good if you want to push lanes heavy but want to stay as far back as possible. Really nice in that aspect. I like hover siege mode because it gives you that mobility where if you need to like back up if the enemy's starting to come down the lane, then at least you have that option. Stone Skin, activate to gain 30% of your max health as shields. Honestly, the rest of these talents are so much better that you should almost never be taking this. If you really need to take this, like if you're having that much of an issue with supports not healing you or something, you're probably going to lose anyways. And the last tier, tier 20, Fury of the Storm, basic attacks bounce twice to nearby enemies for 50%. If you have not unlocked these other talents because of the whole like gating with talent tree, the different talent options, then Fury of the Storms is the default then because your siege mode attacks work with this as well, so you get even more damage out of it. Resurgence of the Storm you really don't want to take because if you're at level 20 and you're that worried about dying, then you probably have an issue. You're probably going to end up losing the game anyways. Orbital BFG, if you took the blunt force gun, then this talent's really nice. Makes it so that it orbits the map, so it'll keep traveling around and around and keep going in that same path until you fire it again. Very nice for clearing lane, especially since you can kind of fire it the once and forget about it, and it'll just keep passing through and hitting minions. And then Advanced Lava Strike. Napalm Strike's range is increased by 75%, and its impact does 50% more. If you took Napalm Strike, take this. Increases the range, which is amazing, especially for trying to take out an enemy if they're running away, and it just does more damage in general, which is also really nice. Alright, so now that I've gotten through that, I'm actually going to go into just a practice match just to show you guys in action what the talents and everything are and how they work. Alright, so let's go to play. Alright, just going to do practice. Sgt.Hammer, and I haven't unlocked any of the stuff yet. I haven't had that much of a chance to play Sgt.Hammer. And let's do this. And I'll turn the sound back on a little bit. Oh. Alright, gonna have to wait till I get in game. Alright, and on Dragonshire. Alright, I'm gonna share with you guys just a little bit of a strat with Sgt.Hammer. Generally, if you're playing a Sgt.Hammer, you don't want to be in the middle lane on this map. You pretty much want to either be top or bottom lane. Reason being is because of the lack of mobility you really have being in siege mode and whatnot. Being in middle lane to try to take the dragon statue really isn't that effective. Not to mention, it's better for one of your other teammates who isn't as push heavy to take the dragon. That way you can push alongside the dragon. Alright, quick, better options, sound, and get sounds up a little bit. Alright, so now in terms of the first tier, I'm pretty much just going to take the advanced artillery trait. Like I said, that just tends to be my standard. I'm going to go bottom lane, just because I prefer it. One thing I should mention as well that's kind of nice is mid-game, Sgt.Hammer is actually capable of getting Siege Giant, as well as the Undead Knight camps. If you're going to be doing that, you're probably going to have to heal afterwards, just because Sgt.Hammer doesn't have any like defensive capability in that aspect. But you have the damage, you can at least take those camps and not be worried about it. Alright, so gonna just hang out here. Actually gonna go hide over here. And one nice thing I can do from right here is just start firing on the tower. And I could just start blasting from all the way back here. Do keep in mind that this is practice mode and the bots are extremely easy. So, I mean, I can't say for certain how it's going to work out compared with actual player enemies. But at least I can show you how the talents and everything are working. Come on. Come on, killer. There we go. And Muradin's... Yep. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so now we've got that one. I'm gonna park my ass here and just keep firing. One thing I will mention in terms of pushing lane, which you should always consider whenever you're going to be trying to push, focus on minions first, not towers. Because what you want to do is have your minions be basically like dummies. You want them to take the hits so that your allies and yourself aren't taking hits instead. Alright, let's see. Next talent tier. I do not have a support with me. I've got Vala. So I'm going to take Vampiric Assault, make it so I can heal myself whenever I'm attacking. Nope, get out of here, Lily. Take her out. Bam. Suck it. Aw. Nah, that was stupid. Yeah, see, I can't attest to players being that stupid. At least I would hope not. Yeah, so I mean, in terms of abilities, Sgt.Hammer's really basic attack focused. Like, I'm almost never using Concussive Blast. Spider Mines I like to lay out just because you might as well have them out when you can. Alright, time to push over here a little bit more, I think. Just blast that. Alright, next talent tree. Slowing Mines, like I said, is what I'm going to choose, just because the other two's abilities don't really have as much use to me. Throw down the mines again. Alright, just gonna go into siege mode here. Just start blasting away. They make practice mode too easy. There should be a difficulty option on this. Oh well. See, and this is the one nice thing about siege mode, is I can be sitting right outside this, like outside the targeting range of the tower, and still be firing on it, which is really nice. Alright, like I said, focus the minions, do not focus on tower. Out. Yeah, and see, thanks to the Vampiric Assault, I'm actually healing myself just from attacking. Alright, now like I said, heroic abilities, I'm not taking BFG because I don't personally like it. I'm taking Napalm Strike. And Napalm! Pew! See how nice that is? All the damage and destruction. So good. Yep, don't want them going. There we go. Really? Just... No, Lily, get... You're dying. Get out of here. No one likes you. Yeah, so I mean, Sgt.Hammer really is just a heavy pusher. Especially if they leave you alone and they don't push you hard, push back hard enough, you can just demolish their entire lane in no time. Oh. Oh. Bam. Take that. Yeah, this is gonna be a quick match. Oh, oh, turbulence. No, stop. Please. There we go. Oh god. Ah! Alright, and I'm running low on mana too. I need to back off. Don't hit me. Okay. Phew. Let's see. In this case, they're not really hitting me all that often, so yeah, I'll take first strike. Not to mention, I'm kind of focusing on pushing lane. I'm not really worried too much about their actual heroes. Yeah, let's see. Top lane is fine. Middle, they're pushing there. Bottom, they're actually pushing back. But I'll take care of that, no problem. Hey, Palm. Get wrecked, Tychus. Alright, time to finish this. Take out the tower. Come on. There we go. Take out their healing well. And that's pretty much GG. Get a little bit of extra XP while I can. Oh, hey Rainer. Get wrecked. Alright, and now just focus on their core, and that is GG right there. Oh! Hover Siege! Oh, and the game's over. Darn. Alrighty. Well then guys, that is Sgt.Hammer. I'm probably going to be doing a few more of these guides as often as I possibly can. I know I've got a few big things coming up soon in my life personally, so I'm not going to be able to do too much for the next couple of weeks. I will try to do what I can whenever I have the chance. I know Warlords of Draenor for World of Warcraft is going to be coming out next week, so I'm going to be playing a lot of that, so I won't have as much time to dedicate to this other stuff, but I will try to get some up when I can. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for updates on all of our latest videos. And don't forget to check us out on Twitter at Left Behind Films, as well as on Twitch. Left Behind Films on there as well, where occasionally we do stream video games. I know both Billy and Ryan are planning on doing some Destiny streams. Chris has been pretty busy lately with some personal life stuff. So, I don't know when he'll be on the next video. But yeah, stay tuned, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!